Hey guys, how are you? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing a review of a thriller from Norway, Norwegian language English subs, released in the year 2004, directed by Erik Nagel, and this movie is called Cry in the Woods. And the story to Cry in the Woods, there's a bank robber who has just recently robbed a bank. He's on the run from the police. He takes a hostage and he's going to try and make it out of Norway. Little does he realise that the hostage he's taken is an escaped mental patient who is wanted for murder. So when this bank robber realises that he has a killer in his midst, he attempts to get rid of the hostage, but he can't do it. The hostage doesn't want to go. So he learns a thing or two about trust, and he also learns a thing or two about this very damaged soul, and not all is what it seems. So not only does he have to stay away from the cops, but he also has to figure out this mental patient and get to the bottom of the truth of the murder that he is wanted for. So that's all I'm going to give you in the synopsis. If you want to know more, please go out there and see this film for yourself. Now my thoughts on Cry in the Woods. Norwegian horror has really made a name for itself. In fact, I think they're the leaders as far as this type of film are concerned. I used to think France were, but France have gone very quiet, so Norway really has taken centre stage. So they've delivered some really good stuff lately, and Christopher Jonner, who plays the mental patient in this film, is a very talented actor. He's one of my favourite actors. So I was psyched to see this movie, and I was hoping that it would live up to the reputation of the other films that are more widely known. As far as recognition is concerned, Cry in the Woods is little known. Not many people talk about this at all, and if it wasn't for my friend sending it to me, I probably would have overlooked it. So after watching it, as I said, I had that expectation that it was Norwegian and that was a very good actor in it, and so for that expectation I was hoping for something that was going to blow me away. And it was something that was going to be typical Norwegian, and it was going to be just a really thrilling sort of horror film, horror/thriller. And so after seeing the film, I can say that I was a little bit disappointed. But having said that, I thought it was a good film, but it just didn't have any lasting impression. I thought that, yeah, it did play the thrilling moments fairly well, but it just felt like a film much the same as another Norwegian movie called Hidden. Now, Hidden also stars Christopher Jonner, and Hidden didn't really have that much depth. It didn't have that much replay value. So yes, you take it for what it is. It's a good film, and this is no different. Cry in the Woods is a decent movie, but there's no depth to it. There's no reason to really want to go out there and watch this again. It's because of the storyline. Now, the storyline, it does get bogged down, unfortunately, in this film, much the same as Hidden. That movie that I'm going to make a lot of comparisons with because they're very similar in that they both start off very well, then they go for a very quiet period in the middle, and then it picks up towards the end. So you've got a really good beginning, really good ending, but in the meantime you have to contend with some very slow build-up that really doesn't seem to go anywhere. And that's the biggest criticism I can find in this film, and that's what prevents it from being a great experience. Now, I thought that the cinematography was very good. It was very gloomy, very atmospheric. I thought the acting was very good. And the way the secret behind this mental patient, the secret behind this murder, and all the people involved, it should have been a great movie, but it's that very heavy lull in the middle that prevents it. The continuity is ruined. I felt like it just got stuck and it didn't know where to go, and it does elevate itself towards the end, but it just feels like a film that's done in the beginning and the end, and they just a time fill in the middle. And so it does ruin the experience for me. You know, I thought that the twist at the end was predictable, so it really wasn't worth the time and effort to go through the middle. I thought that there was a love interest that was put in there for the sake of the film. I thought it was no chemistry whatsoever, and it come across as ridiculous. I really hated the love interest in the film. I just thought it was put there for convenience. The characters didn't really have any chemistry together, and you couldn't really feel the love between the two. It just felt very forced, very unnatural, and there was a scene in particular where this guy's been hit over the head. Now, I don't know if this was a dream or not. I hope it was a dream, but I have a feeling that it wasn't. It's not really made clear. But if it wasn't a dream, I thought that was the most random scene in the film, and it really didn't work. I thought it just completely reeked of desperation just to have a stupid little love interest, a side story for these very uninteresting character that the main guy was. The main guy is this cop who was investigating it. I thought he was very hollow. He wasn't unlikable, but he wasn't likable, so you don't care what happened to him. He's got a side story of his son as well that really wasn't that dramatic, and I felt that that was just a distraction rather than a progression of the film. So there's a lot in this movie that felt a little bit unnecessary, to be honest, and as a result of that I was a little bit disappointed. I thought it was a very well made film, it was well acted, but some of the characters worked and some of the characters didn't. So Christopher Jonner's character was really good. I thought he did a great job at portraying someone who was truly messed up. Then you've got the main main cop who was just very uninteresting. He wasn't unlikable, as I said, but he really wasn't likable. I just didn't care for him. I thought, as I said, the side story where you're supposed to feel sorry for him, you just don't, because it's not that dramatic. And as I said, the love interest he has a little bit later on, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but that just really felt unnatural. It felt forced, and it felt like an act of desperation just to add a little bit more flavour into the film. So the ending, as I said, the twist happens, and it's kind of predictable. And at the end, you'll go away from this film, and you'll think to yourself, yeah, I watched a decently made film. I've seen much worse. But in the end, after you've watched this film, you're going to forget about it pretty quickly, because it just didn't have the depth to really hit home, and it didn't have sustained moments of suspense to really captivate your attention throughout, from start to finish. So it's not a sustained piece. And as a result of that, I thought it felt like an empty experience, and it's an experience that I'm probably not going to revisit anytime soon. So as a result of all this, I'd definitely say go out and see it. You might get a little bit out of it a little bit more out of it than I did. But being such a Norwegian horror / thriller fan, I was left wanting a hell of a lot more from Cry in the Woods. So overall, I'm going to give Cry in the Woods 2.5 stars. 2.5 because, yes, it does have its good moments, but unfortunately it just feels like an experience that you probably don't really need to have. Alright guys, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.